Okay, so this is just going to be a little dynamic version of the Braitenberg experiment that I talked about in this paper. So basically, I'll run the simulation that I used to generate these figures to do with using a hierarchical prediction machine as the controller for a Braitenberg robot version vehicle 3A, which is the one that moves towards the source of stimulation and then at a decreasing speed and then stops when it gets there. So anyway, so this is the, let me just run the simulation here right away. Yeah, so here comes the vehicle 3A, moves towards the source of stimulation, which in this case is represented by this sort of sun-like thing here. Just do that again. I can drag and drop this thing so we can move it around. Wiggle in and comes to a halt just one more time. Put him back here. Okay, yeah. Moves in and stops. Okay, so I'll just, that's basically the behavior. Then I'll just sort of run this at slow speed. Whoops, come back. Okay. Okay, so now we're going very, very slowly. Put him back here. Okay, so I just talked through the hierarchical prediction machine bit. Yeah, so this is sort of basically this diagram now. So here's my hierarchical prediction machine, or my infotropic machine as I call it. And it's basically 5 choices in a hierarchy with the root at the top in the usual way. The choices at the bottom are the ones that basically represent the sensory input and the motor output. So we've basically got 3 here. This one here represents the stimulus on the left-hand sensor, which is this one over here, and this one here represents the stimulus on the right-hand sensor. Oh, we've just finally got a little bit of signal on the right-hand sensor here, which is bringing on this outcome here, which is the right low outcome. The outcome that best predicts that here is this one here, R1, which also predicts this one down here, which represents a go right response. So basically the effect of that is to produce a slight swizzle to the right. As soon as it swizzles enough that we get some signal on the left hand side, we've got a bit of low here, you can probably see. That occasionally brings on R2, which best predicts a go right response, a go left response. So we get the sort of wiggling effect, and eventually we reach this sort of situation where we've got high signal on both of our sensors here, which produces that one, which is best predicted by this outcome here, S1, and that also predicts a stop response. So basically we get a stop. Come back here, start him off again. Yeah, and I guess the only other thing is to say is when there's no signal at all, there's also this higher level choice here, which is basically permanently clamped to the outcome representing a mobile state. And what actually happens is that predicts this outcome here, G1, which best predicts this outcome here, which actually implements a sort of go response. So basically, if there's no stimulation at all, then the vehicle just sort of moves forward each time step a little tiny bit, and then eventually we're reaching this moment now. So at any minute now we should get a bit of signal on the left hand side. This one's going to come on imminently, please. There we go. Yeah, so that comes on, and then we flip into the same response. So now we're turning to the left because this predicts go left. Eventually we'll get some stimulus on the right. There we go. And then we do the wiggling. We're wiggling in, very, very slow wiggling. Eventually we'll get high on both, which is best predicted by the one which predicts a stop response here. The only other thing to say, of course, these are the conditional probability tables. So these basically tell you how these how outcomes, the conditional probabilities that relate outcomes together and basically define the hierarchical structure of the network. They're basically the Bayesian probabilities. So they're all in tables pretty much here. So these are the conditioned outcomes and these are the conditioning outcomes. Here we've got basically, this is basically clamped into a particular one response. So there's only one thing here rather than 2 things here because this actually never is realised. What should we do? We just run it a little bit faster just to finish off. So just speed it all up. Maximum speed, boy racer speed. Okay, put him here. You can barely see this thing, but this thing is flashing away. All goes nicely. Of course, you know, well, we could sort of simulate the pathological case. Just misses it like that, just to kind of illustrate that things go wrong. But if we get that, then we get the behavior that we want. That's basically it. Yeah, so that's basically just a little, I'll just stop that. That's basically a sort of little dynamic version of my figure 6, my figure 5, and my figure 4. And that's basically it. Thank you very much.